This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. And by Matthew 24, verse 6 to verse 8 in the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, in Salakia, and ye shall hear of wars and commotions. Salakia. I'm going to read that again. Matthew 24, 6 to verse 8. And it reads, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, and these are the beginning of sorrows. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, spread through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word, truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word, truthfully and sincerely. I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is in the news, the articles that I'm about to bring out in reference to the scriptures that are brought out as well too, through the spirit, power, rest, and mercy of Yahweh outside. And I hope the sit down lesson is edifying through the spirit, power, rest, and mercy of Yahweh outside. And this is a news article from Politico.com from the Russia's war on Ukraine. And I highlight this news article, and it reads, U.S. to send an additional $3 billion in aid to Ukraine as the war hits its 6th month. It says the money will fund contracts for drones, weapons, and other equipment that may not see the battlefront for a year or two, official says. And it shows right here, and this was in July, a man looked over a wreckage after a missile struck shopping mall in July, Ukraine. And it says, as Russia war on Ukraine drags into, Slovakia, as Russian war in Ukraine drags on U.S. security assistance is shifting to a longer-term campaign, which Russia calls a military operation, and they've been lasting for 6 months now, from February all the way to now. That will likely keep more American troops in Europe, right, which is the over there in Eastern Europe. It says into future, including imminent plans to announce an additional roughly $3 billion in aid to train and equip Ukraine forces to fight for years to come, U.S. official says. The U.S. official told the Associated Press that the package is expected to announce Wednesday, which was yesterday because it's 12 o'clock already. It says the day the war hits its 6-month mark. It says the Ukraine celebrates its Independence Day. It says money will fund contracts for drones, weapons, and other equipment that may not see the battlefront for a year or two, they said. A total of aid package will been provided under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative could change overnight, but not likely by much. Officials several officials spoke on conditions anomaly to discuss the aid before its public release. And it says, unlikely most previous packages, the new funding is largely aimed at helping Ukraine secure and medium to long term defense posture. According to the officials familiar with the matter, early shipments, most of them drone under presidential drawdown authority, have focused on Ukraine's more imminent needs for weapons and ammunition and involving material that the Pentagon has already had in stock that can be shifted in short order. And it says in addition to provoke long-term assistance that Ukraine can use for potential future defense needs. The new package is extended to assure Ukraine officials that the United States intends to keep up its support regardless of the day-to-day and back and forth of the conflict, official says. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg noted the more extended focus Tuesday as the reformative the alliance support for the conflict-torn country. It says winter is coming, and it will be hard for what see now is grinding war of attritions, if I pronounced that right. This is a battle of will and a battle of logistics. Therefore, we must sustain our support for Ukraine for the long term so that Ukraine prevails as a sovereign, independent nation. Stoltenberg said, speaking at a virtual conference about Crimea organized by Ukraine. The 6 months after Russia invades, the war has slowed to a grind as both sides trade combat strikes and small advance in the east and south. Both sides have been thousands of troops killed and injured as Russian bombardment the city has killed countless of innocent civilians. There are fears that Russia will intensify attacks on civilian infrastructure and government facilities in Ukraine in the coming days of the independence holiday and the 6-month anniversary of the invasion. It says last Monday, the U.S. Embassy, Ukraine, and the State Department issued a new security alert for Ukraine that repeat to call for Americans in the country to leave due to the danger. And it says, given Russia's track record in Ukraine, we are concerned about the continued threat that Russia's strike pose to the civilians and civilian infrastructure. It says, to date, the U.S. has provided about $10.6 billion in military aid to Ukraine since the beginning of the Biden administration, including 19 packages, weapons that directly from Defense Department stocks since August of 2021. The U.S. defense leaders and also eyeing plans that will expand training for Ukraine troops outside their country and for military on your eastern and southern flanks that feel more threatened by Russia's aggression. Right, so as the war in Ukraine with the Russia-Ukraine situation, as war continues to intensify in that region over there, now you got the United States assisting another additional $3 billion in military aid to, which is drones, weapons, and other equipment as well too. And as we reach the month period of the war in Ukraine. Started in February, now it's all the way in August. Now it's entering the 6th month of the war in the Russia-Ukraine. And this is another article I'm about to bring out as well too. And this one right here says it was published on August the 24th and updated at August 25th, 2022 at 12:02 a.m. Eastern Time. And this is from NewYorkTimes.com. And the highlight of this news article, and it reads, Russia-Ukraine war missile strikes killing at least 22 on Independence Day.
That's what Valdez did this entire game. At least at 7-8 pitch. 8 Ks, allowed only 1 run. Astros won at 5-3. They've got 80 wins in 125 games. That's the fastest in team history. But more on the man, Valdez. 21 straight quality starts. No Astros player has ever had a longer streak. And he tied Yohan Santana for the
Here, what we know, the attack on a train station. I remember, because the president of Ukraine, he did make that statement, said it was a Russian airstrike on a train that killed about 22 people. He did mention that. I heard that on the news as well too. It says the attack on a train station in the Ukraine town of Chaplan claimed as war-scared nation brace for the step-up attacks and marks the 6-month point since the Russian invasion. The attacks was the most deadliest strike on the country's railway since April. Zelensky said Ukraine is reborn 6 months into the war. UN officials painted a break picture as a civilian casualties top 13,000. Defiance is the mood of the day as Ukraine celebrates their independence. We have no wounded, no dead on Eastern Front. At Ukraine Unite see a little change on Independence Day. The deadliest attack was the deadliest strike on the country's railway since April. And this is the news article, Salakia. It says, Kyiv, Ukraine, a Russian missile hit a train station in eastern Ukraine, killing at least 22 people and injuring 50. President Vladimir Zelensky said on Wednesday. And the attack that comes Ukraine celebrates its Independence Day and bringing home the harsh reality of the 6-month war. The attack, which took place on the area about 74 miles east of the Day.Part in Ukraine-controlled territory, was one of the deadliest strikes on the country's railway since April, when more than 50 people were killed when an airstrike slammed into a rocket strike, slammed into a crowded railway platform in eastern Ukraine. Rescuers are working, President Zelensky said during a remote address to the UN Security Council via video, but unfortunately the number of dead may still increase. It says the strike came as the nation braced for the step-up attacks as Ukraine celebrates its Independence Day, and President Zelensky said it was a reminder of the abuse faced by people across his nation. There is no such war crime that the Russian occupiers have not yet committed on the territory of Ukraine, he says. The Ukraine National Railway has no immediate comment, but the railway has outsized war during, role during the war, providing a critical lifeline for millions fleeing. The fighting train has also helped bring in more than 100,000 tons of humanitarian aid. Slocky slip of the tongue. It says strikes on moving train car has been exceedingly rare, and the substances of Wednesday's strike was not immediately clear. But it came as Russian missile launches triggered Ukrainian air defense systems across the country. The Ukrainian military general staff said in its daily bulletin on the war that air and missile strikes on military and civilian targets has continued and babbled. Today is a day especially rich in our air alarms and bulletin says.
Make this the summer you realize. The farther you go, the better it gets. The summer you secure the campsite.
And it says hours before the strike, a rocket slammed into a house in the same area, killing an 11-year-old child, according to and officials and the president's officials. Krisko Tomoskenko, two children narrowly escaped it with their lives. Officials said they had been buried under the rubble but were rescued by emergency crews around 3 p.m. in the Dnipropetrovsk region in the Sinkalkov district. A Russian rocket hits a private house, Mr. Tomlinsko said in a statement. He says, speaking remotely to the UN Security Council on Wednesday, Mr. Zelensky has received information on a Russian missile strike in the region at the Chaklin, if I pronounced that right, railway station for
That's his 14th. Phillies take a 3-1 lead. Bottom of the third. Bottom of the seventh.
bear with me 1 second, Slocky.
Now Real Muto at the plate. Another shot for him, not over the wall, but off the wall. Be a double. Reese Hoskins trying to score from first, but how about this throw from Aristides? Show me that one more time. Just a straight laser to the plate, and Hoskins had no chance. Top of the ninth, Reds down 7-5, trying to make some kind of comeback. Jake Fraley at the plate, left center. Munoz thinks he has it, but it's almost blocked. Fraley makes it the second, and then